Hello, everybody. This is Card Guy Chris Ellis.
With Collectible Chris, and we'll be discussing our Week 12 Players of the Week as well as college football rankings, our Week 13 predictions, and also got to do a couple games on this episode. So this week, Dad was 10-5 on his predictions. I was 9-6, but Players of the Week. I watched the Raiders Seahawks game, and after his performance, he deserves Player of the Week for me. Josh Jacobs, total 303 total scrimmage yards, 229 rushing touchdowns with 2 TDs, including that 86 rusher to beat the Seahawks in overtime, including 6 receptions for 74 receiving yards.
Yes, and I will be going with Mike White from the Jets, who was 22 for 28 with 315 yards, 3 TDs, and 0 interceptions. He had a great game. You want to go with your next one?
All right, Rookie of the Week, I'm going to go with the defensive player last night's game. He turned the tide against the Seahawks, but unfortunately the Packers couldn't do it. Quay Walker is going to be my Rookie of the Week with 4 tackles, 7 assisted, 1 fumble recovery, which I helped get the Packers again in scoring position to tie the game before the half.
My Rookie of the Week is Brian Robinson Jr. for the Commanders. 18 rushes for 105 yards, 5.8 yards average. He had 0 TDs on the ground, but yeah, it was 2 for 20 for an average of 10 yards per catch for 1 TD. So I gave the Rookie of the Week to Brian Robinson Jr.
My defensive player of the week, I'm going to give it to Derek Forrest, the free safety from the Commanders. He had 11 total tackles, 8 solo with 3 assisted. A really good game with the Commanders.
I'm giving the defensive player of the week to Quay Walker from the Packers. 11 total tackles, 4 solos, 7 assisted, and 1 fumble recovery. So there is our week 12 players of the week. Of course, we got one more game tonight. So
yeah, and we're still going to be above 500 no matter what, if the Colts win or not. So, this weekend was actually a very interesting college football weekend. Ole Miss got out of the top 25. Mississippi State came in at number 25. USM, Mississippi State, and Ole Miss are all bowl eligible. All Mississippi colleges are going to a bowl game, which I'm very happy about. Very excited for the state of Mississippi. Michigan beat Ohio State in one of the best rivalries in college football history. If you watched our previous episode, we both talked about that. So Georgia, Michigan, and TCU are the only undefeated teams left this year at 12-0. Georgia 1, Michigan 2, TCU 3. USC is now 4th and is in the last spot for the playoff game at 11-1. Ohio State only dropped to 5th, so they might have a possibility to get back into it. And then the rest is going to be your 10-2 teams, except for Tulane. Tulane is 18th in the polls. They're not in a tough conference, so.
yeah, this week's. It's going to be interesting. You got the conference championship games this weekend, and everything. So we'll definitely know a little bit more about who's going to play who, when and where. I don't see Georgia losing the SEC championship game. TCU will win the Big 12.
The only team I'm worried about is going to be USC.
Yep. And
well, Michigan might have to face Ohio State again, right?
I think they play in the same conference in the Big Ten.
Oh, the same division in the conference? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Michigan might be the toughest one, but I think USC already has it in the bag. But before I say that, we'll see.
Yeah, they kind of thought one year they were supposed to win the Pac-12 and didn't. They were heavy favorites and they got blown out by who did they get blown out? It wasn't UCLA, but it was someone else. So
was it Cal?
It was somebody. It was somebody they shouldn't have lost to. Period.
Okay. But LSU with their 3rd loss, they dropped out of the top 10. But this whole list, I'm not seeing a bunch of SEC teams. It's actually a good mix of everybody. Surprisingly, for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
So honestly, to me, this is the most exciting college football season in a while, especially since Alabama might not be in the top
I
four.
mean, even if Georgia loses the SEC championship game, they're not going to be out of the playoff. So I mean,
Well, Georgia loses, Bama might slip back in. Either Bama or Ohio State. Bama might get it over Ohio State, and if that happens, I'm gonna be a little ticked off.
yeah, because I mean, I can't see a 2-loss team going in above a 1-loss. Anybody in there
Well, Ohio
except
State,
for USC.
yeah,
I mean, because if Ohio State wins, I mean, it's just one of those things. You know how it goes.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting this weekend. So for sure.
Well, when the bowl games are announced, we'll be doing our predictions for each week. So,
Yeah.
and that'll be fun. All right, ready to do the first game to add.
Yep.
All
I'm
right.
ready.
Overrated, underrated, basketball edition.
Okay.
Anthony Davis.
Right now, overrated
All right, why?
because he's hurt a lot.
Okay. When he's the main player, I
Okay.
think he's underappreciated.
Yes.
Right now,
I agree with that.
with LeBron on the team, he is overrated. He does get hurt a lot. At least he doesn't get hurt as much as Zion.
True.
Although Zion's having a good year so far.
I would compare. Let's put it this way: if Anthony Davis was on, the Anthony Davis that was on New Orleans was probably underrated.
Yeah.
But right now, with just his injuries, it's not like he's gotten a fair shake in LA. So
Okay, he's overrated but underappreciated.
yes,
Okay. All right.
yeah.
All right. Number 2, Damian Lillard.
Well, he's hurt for the year.
Yeah.
Um,
But before being hurt
um,
and being basically the main guy for that team.
I think he's underrated as a whole. I think he should get probably a little. I mean, he gets commercials and everything, and I get that. But I don't. I think a lot of people, for what he could do on that team, I think it kind of hurts that he lost, CJ to New Orleans.
Yeah.
But I think he's as a whole. I think he's underrated. I don't think he's overrated. I don't think that people put him over a lot of players that he should be put over.
Just I think that's because of his position and just the fact that there's been more All-Star votes still for multiple players in his position.
Yeah.
Because he's a shooting guard, right?
Yeah. I mean, he plays the point, but I mean, he can. I mean, McCollum was the shooting guard when they played.
Right.
So I mean, he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot, but he also is not one. He's not in the Allen Iverson mode completely. To where,
because he's not selfish.
well,
with the
it's
ball.
not that. It's just that he trusts his players.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Well, that's what I mean. He's not
Yeah.
selfish. I mean, he trusts in his players and he passes it.
yeah. So
I mean, he's one of the main reasons why they won that championship.
yeah.
So I agree with that. Number 3, this one I've actually been wanting to know your opinion on. Trae Young.
I think he's right. I think he's just right. I don't think he's overrated, but I don't think he's underrated. I think he's about where he should be.
Okay, because his rookie year he was overrated, but now he's into his third season. I think he's just right as well, and he's actually taken more of a leadership role, which he needed.
Yeah, I mean, with him and Murray and the backcourt for Atlanta, I see some good things for them.
Possible for them to be a championship run team.
In the East,
Okay, do you think they can get Boston in 7?
no, I think Boston is a better team overall than them. I would probably put them. I don't know records right now in the NBA, so I'm just going to say, like if this was the beginning of the season, which I don't count anything pretty much in the NBA until Christmas,
Yeah,
because that's when
they actually start running.
yeah. If I was just to say, I'd put Boston 1, or
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. So those are either 1 or 2. I like Cleveland. I like Cleveland with Donovan Mitchell a lot. Of course, I'm a big Donovan Mitchell fan and always
Yeah.
have been. So three. That's three. Four would be the Bulls should be a whole lot better than what they are.
I mean, they're getting back into their stride finally.
Yeah. You know what? I put maybe Atlanta in the 5-6 range, somewhere in
Okay.
there.
Oh,
So
okay. Well, speaking of Boston, one of my favorite players growing up, Al Horford.
you know what? I don't think he's overrated, and I don't think he's underrated. I think he is a great role player that's had a great career. He might not be in the Hall of Fame, probably won't, but he's played some really good, been in some good teams with some good games. He just played on some bad Hawk teams after they got rid of a lot of their good players like Josh Smith and
And he's finally on a team that actually has incorporation.
yeah. So
Okay, Al Horford, same class as Al Jefferson and Zach Randolph.
I like him better than Jefferson, though Jefferson was a good player. Zach Randolph was probably the best rebounder that couldn't jump. Um,
True, true.
probably the best jumper that could barely dunk, best non-jumper. So, I mean, but Zach had a pretty good career there too. I mean, most of his best seasons
We're
were
definitely with that Memphis team.
yeah after he left Portland, even though he was coming into his own with that team. So yeah, but Zach Randolph was a very intimidating guy that couldn't jump. So.
It was the nose. Let's
Yeah,
be for real.
yeah,
It was the nose.
It was the nose and the head man. So yeah,
But I mean, I say that because they were role players, and I just think that Al deserves to be in that conversation with that. So
yeah.
okay, number 5. Now I'm doing this as a whole.
Okay.
As a whole, the active ball family.
Including the just LaMelo and Alonzo, or including the other brother that's not in the league yet.
Okay, but both the balls are active in the NBA now. So Alonzo and LaMelo.
I like LaMelo. I thought LaMelo's game was going to do well. Is going to do well in the NBA. I think he's way better than Lonzo. I think Lonzo had to fight through his dad's BS,
Yeah.
which is probably the thing. But Lonzo has also got some good skills in certain areas too. So I mean, I
So
think
LaMelo over Lonzo. To me, Lonzo was overrated as a rookie and when he was in LA. But him out of LA, he is definitely undervalued.
yes, I agree with that.
So both of them, I think they are underrated. I think just Melo is fairly rated.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That'd be completely how I would go with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, there's no telling what the end of the career is going to be. But
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's no. I mean,
Well, their brother might be better than them because their brother is honestly a less of a turnover machine. But let's be for real, they're all better than their dad was.
oh yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah, exactly. I think most people agree with that.
Okay. All right. So that was overrated, underrated basketball edition. You ready for the new game?
Yeah.
All right. So we got a new game on here. This is called GM mode. So I'm gonna give you a team, and I got a series of questions with a scenario.
Okay.
All right. So you are the GM of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay.
Once Brady officially retires, you decide to rebuild from scratch and go for young pieces for both offense and defense. So, who are you promoting to quarterback, or are you trading or drafting for these pieces? And I'm saying that in case you think Kyle Trask deserves that open spot.
Well, I don't know. Trask hasn't had a lot of chances yet, so.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know if I have enough capita to trade to get jumped in the draft to get a quarterback. Also depends the quarterbacks that are coming out. Because C.J. Stroud will probably go to the Texans. Um,
Bryce Young is going to be in the draft this year. The Tennessee quarterback is going to be in the draft this year.
Caleb Williams from USC
Mm-hmm.
probably be in the draft. See, it's going to be depend where Tampa Bay falls because if they win the division, it's going to depend where they lose in the playoffs, where they draft.
True.
So,
I mean, teams have been able to get
no, I mean,
quarterbacks later in the first round.
oh yeah, I mean, there's proof that you can get a quarterback later in the first round, and well, they could give Trask the option, but get a veteran quarterback to back him up. And I'm thinking that Darnold or Baker will be out of Carolina. So I could see one of them going to back up Kyle.
Okay.
And then overall, I mean, they got an aging team. So it's not like they have like half and half.
Yeah.
It's not like you have like sometimes you want veterans, but you also need to have that the youth coming from behind to replace.
Just like Miller with Milano right now and Buffalo.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that you need at least Mike Evans is getting up there in age. I mean, they need some key defensive pieces. Um, yeah, their GM. It's going to be kind of hard. I mean, cause,
Well, in this scenario, you're GM, so what would you do?
well, I'm not going to trade Mike Evans because I need a reliable receiver. They got a good young tight end in Cotton from Washington that they drafted. Um, so they got someone there.
Okay, so you'll keep Trask.
Yeah, I think I'd keep Trask, have a veteran backup come in that's won some games, and I'd have Trask win the job, the veteran backing him up and helping him learn, or I'd have the backup start and then have Trask come in the fourth quarter. You know, if you're not worried about winning right away, I mean, you got a head coach that's going to be like, you know, you want to win, but I mean, with that team, I don't know how much winning you're going to be doing. Problem is that division's so bad right now that
Anything's possible.
yeah, exactly. So
All right, so you'll keep Trask. You'll go for key defensive positions into the draft.
I still draft probably a wide receiver, and I mean, the offensive line is not great, so I would see if I could trade for some linemen or find some linemen in the free agency,
Okay.
and then go from there.
Okay. Leading to my next question. Out of these quarterbacks that are going to be free agents after this year, who would you want to be a backup if you gave Trask a starting position? Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Joe Flacco, or Colt McCoy?
I think Colt will stay in Arizona.
Especially after his performance.
Though I would love Colt to come down. Colt would probably be the better one because Trask wasn't really worried about losing the job, but Colt could help him out
And step in when he needed to.
Yeah. So I mean, Colt would be a great choice. Just the age is getting up there. He'll be 37.
Yeah, 37 next year.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd probably go Colt, Baker, Flacco,
Darnold?
Darnold.
Okay.
I'd probably go with that, and then I think eventually teams gotta rebuild. I mean, some have been able to rebuild and stay consistent in the draft. It's just
I mean, the Jets.
I mean,
And that's been a 3-year project.
yeah.
Ever since.
Well, I think if Brees Hall wouldn't have got hurt,
Oh, yeah. They will be in a better position.
oh yeah, I think they got the good young pieces, young talent. I don't think they've given up on Zach yet, due to the fact that
When he gets in, he kills it.
yeah, it's just he got benched for this last game. I mean, White had a great game against the Bears, so
Oh, yeah. All right. Which coaches would you keep, fire, or replace?
For
No, for the Bucks.
keep the head coach.
All right.
I'll see if Marv Lewis wants to come out of retirement and be the defensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I like that. I like that answer.
I would love to see that, and then I would love to see if we could get offensive coordinator. I don't think it's bad. That's Byron Leftwich, right?
Yeah.
It's their offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a bad offensive coordinator.
So the defensive coordinator is the only one you would.
Yeah, I'd probably ask Ray not Ray, but I'd probably ask Marv if he'd like to come back out of retirement and defensive coach.
All right. And you already answered this question earlier because the last question was, would you keep Mike Evans or trade him due to his age? So you said you'll keep him.
I want a
since he's
veteran. I want a veteran receiver that can catch the ball, and I know he can.
And you said that you would draft a wide receiver. That way, Mike can actually help help him out. So, all right. That was a good GM mode one, then.
Mm-hmm.
Dang. All right. I got a new one for you next week already, then.
All right.
All right. So, ready for Week 13 predictions?
Yep.
All right. Thursday night, Bills versus Patriots.
Bills.
I'm going with the Bills, too. Just emotional Josh Allen is something. The next one is going to be interesting. Packers versus Bears.
Yeah, because we don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to play that game or not. I'm going to go Bears.
You're going Bears?
Going Bears.
Honestly, if Love is a starter, I kind of like Love as the starting quarterback. He is so underappreciated. So I'm going with the Packers. Even if Rodgers is the starting quarterback, I'll still give it to the Packers. Steelers versus Falcons.
Going Falcons. I think I like the Falcons use the running game and get the ball, out.
I mean, the Falcons lost to a close game to the Commanders, so I'm also going with the Falcons. Jets versus Vikings.
Going Vikings.
I'm also going with Vikings. It's just too good of a team. This next one is one of the ones I have problems with. Jags versus Lions.
Ooh, that might be a good game. They're playing in Detroit, right?
Yep.
So they're playing in a dome. I'm going to go with Lions just because of the defense, even though the defense isn't great. But I'm going with Lions.
I mean, Lions have been better the past few weeks. I mean, they're 4-1 in the past few weeks alone. Jags had a great game against the Ravens. I think Lawrence is finally turning around. I mean, the record really doesn't prove his stats.
No, I mean he's having that this year I think is the year he would have had if he had a better head coach last year.
Oh yeah, I agree. I'm really torn on this one.
Yeah, it's a 50-50 game, I think.
Yeah, so I'm going with the experience on this one. So I'm going with the Lions. Titans versus Eagles.
I'm going to go with Eagles.
Henry didn't do that well this past weekend, but Eagles, I mean, Hurts on with his dang legs. That's what I'm worried about. This next one, Deshaun Watson coming back. Browns versus Texans.
I'm going with the Browns because the Texans team is not that good. But I don't know how good Deshaun's going to be from
the many, many years.
Yep.
I'm seeing an upset. I'm going with the Texans. I just want someone from the Texans team to shut Deshaun Watson down. That's what I'm hoping for. The next one, Commanders versus Giants.
That's going to be a good game. I think that's going to be a really good game. I'm going to go with Tyler Hinkie in this one.
Same here. He's just so dang good. And honestly, I think he wants to prove that he deserves to be that starter fully. Also, to prove that they're a playoffs team. So I'm going with Commanders. Broncos versus Ravens.
I'm going Ravens. I think Lamar Jackson's not going to have Yeah.
I want Ravens too.
Oh,
Lamar's
this is
got
going
to
to be
go off.
another good game.
Yeah, this is another one I was torn apart on. Dolphins versus Niners.
Well, the 49ers haven't allowed points in a lot of games recently. I'm going to go with the 49ers in this one. But East Coast teams don't usually do well in the West Coast time zone.
Yeah. At the same time, though, there is one person that knows the West Coast times. And I am worried for the Niners. Only one guy can stop Tyreek from that defense. But someone on the Niners defense can get to Mahomes, and he's done it before. The only reason why I'm picking the Dolphins is because Garoppolo is a mediocre quarterback right now. Tua is just having the time of his life right now as the quarterback. I just think Tua is better than
It's going to be a good game.
I don't see it being a defensive game. I see it being a shootout. But if I'm saying shootout, I'm giving that to Tua any day.
Yeah.
Another rivalry game. Seahawks versus Rams. In LA.
I'm going to go Rams.
You're going Rams.
Yeah.
The Seahawks
If
are.
it was in Seattle, I would probably go with Seattle. But
I mean, Seattle has lost the last two games. I think that they'll get back into stride because the last game they should have won.
yeah.
I'm going with the Seahawks. I just think that Stafford is just having too much trouble.
Yeah.
Chargers versus Raiders.
Let's see. I'm going to go Raiders in that one.
You're going Raiders.
Yeah.
Because last time it was close and the Raiders should have won. So I'm also going with that due to that fact. And they pulled out something out of their butts the last two games. This next one is going to be tough too. AFC rematch. Chiefs versus Bengals.
Bengals.
You're going with the Bengals. I'm honestly going for the Bengals too. Burrow is just on a different level at this time. This next one is going to kill me. Colts versus Cowboys.
Cowboys.
I too am going for the Cowboys. I am going against both my teams this week. Alright. The Monday night game. Saints versus Bucks.
Brady does not like playing the Saints. I'm going to go with New Orleans.
Only reason why I'm going for the Saints is because they got shut out yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
They're not used to that. They're going to have a fire under their butts. And Winston is supposed to be back.
Yep.
So, Winston back in Tampa Bay? Yes, please. I'm going with them.
All righty.
So,
anything else?
There was something that I had on my mind, but it's okay. I don't have to announce it right now, so it's all good.
All right. So, everybody, hope you have a good day. This is Card Guy Chris Ellis.
With Collectible Chris on TikTok.
And we'll see you next time. Bye.